History of food services in 18th century. The 18th century Bollinger's restaurant. The word restaurant is derived from the French word restaurant or the restaurant. In 16th century, the word restorative has been used to describe rich and highly flavored soups or stows capable of restoring lost strength during recuperation from illness. Restoratives means all cooked foods offered and purchased from outside the house were made by guild members. And guild members means an organized group of people who have joined together because they share the same job or interest. Each guild had the monopoly of preparing certain types of food items. Example, during the reign of Henry IV in 1553 to 1610, there were separate guilds for rôtisseurs, who spit roasted large joints of meat; pâtissiers, who cooked pies and tarts, often made with poultry; tamiseurs, who baked breads; vintagers, who made sauces and some stows; pork chiefs, caterer, who organized feasts and celebrations. Henry IV, 1553 to 1610, also known by the epithet Good King Henry or Henry the Great, was King of Navarre as Henry III from 1572 and King of France from 1589 to 1610, was the first monarch of France from the House of Bourbon, a cadet branch of the Capetian dynasty. Was assassinated in 1610 by Francis Ravaillac, a fanatical Catholic, and was succeeded by his son Louis VIII. The French claim that the world's first modern restaurant was opened in 1765 when Parisian tavern keeper Monsieur Bollinger hung a sign advertising the sale of a special restorative, a dish of sheep's feet in a white sauce. His establishment closed a short while later because of a lawsuit brought by a guild, whose members claimed the Bollingers was infringing on their exclusive rights to sell prepared dishes. Bollingers won in court and later reopened. Bollinger is a soup vendor who opened his business in Paris in 1765. The sign above his door advertised restoratives or restaurants, referring to the soups and broths available within. Bollinger's also its establishments differed for the numerous inns and taverns that existed across Europe for centuries. These inns and taverns served foods preferred off premises by the various guilds. The choice was very limited. The food was an add-on to the basic service of sleeping, accommodation, and drink. Customers served family style and ate at communal tables. Bollinger's contribution was to serve a variety of foods prepared on premises to customers whose primary interest was dining. Several other restaurants opened in Paris during the succeeding decades, including the Grande Tavernes de Londres. Villers opened a restaurant called the La Grande Taverne de Londres in the Palais Royal, Paris, sometimes between 1782 and 1786. The restaurant was intended for a wealthy and aristocratic client. It had table made of mahogany, crystal chandeliers, and tablecloths of fine linen, an extensive wine cellar, and elegantly dressed waiters. Dishes on the restaurant menu included partridge with cabbage, veal chops grilled in buttered paper, and duck with turnips. The owner of Grande Taverne de Londres was Anton B. Villers from 1754 to January 31, 1817. He was the former steward to the Comte de Provence, later King Louis VIII of France. He advanced the development of the modern restaurant by offering his wealthy patrons a menu listing valuable dishes during fixed hours. Was a pioneering restaurateur who opened the first prominent grand restaurant in Paris and wrote the cookbook L'Art du Cuisinier. Jean Antelme Brillat Savarin considers him the most important of the early restaurateurs, as he was the first to have an elegant dining room, handsome well-trained waiters, a fine cellar, and a superior kitchen. The French Revolution 1789 to 1799 had a significant effect on the budding restaurant industry. Along with the aristocracy, the guilds and their monopolies were abolished. The revolution also allowed public access to the skills and creativity to the well-trained and sophisticated chefs who had worked in the private kitchens of the aristocracy. Although many of the aristocracy's chefs either left the country or lost their jobs, a few enterprising ones opened restaurants catering to the growing urbanized middle class in the new republic.